always do this.
What? No! Come on!
You always do this.
G'day, Stu from UAVfutures here, and today, well, get set to get excited. What we're talking about is this little bad boy here, and if you've ever wanted a drone you can take out of the box, it's under 100 grams, some of the best FPV footage you've ever seen. You've got a full-size receiver, and the flight experience is just absolutely mint. Like, I mean, it is tuned to perfection. It's not going to break the bank, and you can race it anywhere. Does that all sound too good to be true? Yeah, it probably does, but let me tell you, it's not, because what we're checking out, it's the TURBOBEE from Iflight. Iflight has been absolutely smashing it out of the park, and we're kind of going to do this review a little bit differently. I'm going to show you some DVR, because I want to back up all those stats I've just said, and then when I rewind, we'll talk about the text and the specs, break it down a bit more, then we'll go see our boy Granger fly it around, and you're just going to be amazed when you see this drone. I'm going to link it down below, and I mean, for the price, it is absolutely ridiculous where our hobby is heading, what Iflight is doing. So Stuart, enough talking. Where's that DVR? Back it up, boy. Come on, show me. What have you got? Well, let's do it. Let's show you some DVR. Take that little bit in your mind that you think, yeah, I've seen it all before. Turn that off, because, yeah, this thing, it's about to just blow your mind with how cool it is for such a tiny little drone that's like 80 grams with a battery. So let's do it. Roll some DVR and then come back in 3, 2, 1. Rightio, so we're back now, and as you can see, this thing absolutely screams. Like, everything about this drone is just working in sync. Iflight's really done their homework. They're putting out some crazy stuff. Like, I think I saw, I don't know if I put the link down or a picture on the screen or something, like a 4K crazy city whoop drone. I'm not too sure. They're building some crazy stuff, but Iflight has really pushed it with this one in the way that I love the most. I love something that is performance, speed, and they've also shrunk it down because our hobby is changing. A lot of regulations are coming in. A lot of people want to get that full-fledged 5-inch racing speed experience, and this thing, let me tell you, is knocking it absolutely out of the park. You saw that flight experience and what it's like, but okay, let's give it a bit of an overview. It's the Iflight TURBOBEE. If we stick it on the scales, you'll see it's coming in at... It's about 55 grams there with a battery. I think it's just on 80 grams, so 78, 79 grams right there. Hopefully that's in focus in the roof cam. And what it is, it's designed to be taken out of the box to give you an amazing flight experience where it just works. It's super easy to get set up. It is different to things like the toothpick in that regard, because look, it's carrying a full-size receiver. I think it's made better. You don't need to fiddle around, all that sort of part. It's just made for people who want something they can buy, take it out of the box. It's got awesome components and it just works. And let me tell you, it absolutely does. Now, moving on, speaking of those components, let's start at the outside in. You can see it's pretty much like, if we look at the frame, it's a stretch Dex. It's one unibody base plate. It's like a full 5-inch racer that they've just shrunk down. They've taken all the experience, everything we've learned in the hobby, they've shrunk it down right here. You can tell I'm excited. One difference between this and the toothpick is they're kind of screwed on from the top as well, which means your props aren't going to fly off the top, which can happen to some people. I've heard a few reports of that happening. And then moving on towards the middle, I guess we've got some stars of the show on the outside of the arms. We've got some 1103 10,000 kV motors, and they take a 3S and they absolutely scream. Moving towards the middle, we've got a 12 amp ESC, standard stuff, F4 flight controller. One difference, we have a separate VTX in here. It's got smart audio, all the good stuff, but you can actually boost it up to 200 milliwatts. So you're going to get some clear footage, which is different to some of the other sort of micro whoops where you're only limited to 25. And then another huge difference is we've got a full-size receiver in here. So we've got our XM Plus, which you can bind up to your Tyrannus, rip it around, unless you're using the X-Lite Pro, which at the moment isn't really working. But the normal X-Lite, you can bind it up, screen this thing around, and you're going to get some amazing range that you're used to with your normal X-Lites. It's got a little dipole antenna on the back, which is held in nicely by this little TPU mount, which I must say is put in there quite just a well-designed little snug feature. And then on the front, this is something that I really wasn't expecting as well. Not only did I not expect it to fly as nicely as it does, the little camera on the front, the Cadex cam there, gives an absolutely beautiful, delicious picture, and you'll see that in the DVR too when I'm doing more of a talk over the DVR in this thing. It's just spitting out such a nice picture back to our eyes. So the colors are absolutely mint, and I'm a huge fan of it. It just makes it's a joy to fly around. Now moving on, let's talk about the design of the thing, and I'm just going to say, Is it doing anything original? Yes and no. There has never really been a little drone that flies so well, that's coming in so light, that's like this. But all they've really done is taken a large drone, it feels like, and then shrunk it down. But these guys seem to be the first people who have done it well. So look, design-wise, is it original or not? I guess, no, I don't know. You be the judge of that, what you think. But does it work? Absolutely. Talking about the quality of the thing, I'm going to give it about an 8 out of 10. Solder joints are nice, and I guess the thing I really like, it is absolutely the quality of the flight experience between the tune, how it feels on the sticks, and you know how it actually looks in the FPV camera. That's where I'd almost give it a 10, because it is, you know, I keep saying it because it's left such an impression. It is really, really nice to fly. And then finally, the pros and the cons. Well, the only, I guess it's not even really a con, because I feel like it's kind of worth it, but it's coming in about 150 US bucks, and there are some cheaper alternatives out there, and especially if you go brushed or you want to get a Mobula or something like that, I think they're coming in at around $100. This one, it is a little bit more at 150, and that's about all I can say on the negative side of things, and that's kind of XJB territory. But depending, do you want a quieter, smaller drone? Do you want a bigger 3-inch? That's where you really need to weigh it up. But if this is for you, there's so many pros to look at as well. So number one, it looks amazing. It's under the 100 gram limit, coming in at around 80 grams. That's going to mean it's not going to upset anybody. And another thing too, because it's so well tuned and the components and it just flies so well, it doesn't make very much noise through the air, so you can barely hear it. It's not going to be obtrusive if you're flying in a park and you're worried about disturbing people. This one, you're going to be able to get your FPV action in no matter where you are flying it around. The performance is like off the chain, ridiculous nice. The FPV feed is absolutely beautiful. You can crank it up at 200 milliwatts, which is something that's a big plus over some other drones. We've got a full-size receiver in here. There's just so many things I like about this drone. Oh, and you're gonna wanna buy more batteries though, so maybe that's gonna be a bit of a con, because trust me, I ran out and I was like, I just wanna keep flying this thing all day. And also, I don't really like this Velcro strap. That part's a little bit annoying, and I guess that's probably something I would like to change. But look, that's an easy fix. I can do that myself. I'm probably just gonna run a battery the complete way around the outside. But other than that, that's it on the bench. That's the boring stuff. Let's take this thing out to the field, rip it around. We're gonna go to Whoop Heaven. Granger's gonna be there. And really, I normally fly my whoops around there or my small craft. This thing is going to rip it like never before, so we'll see what he thinks as well, and just generally have a good time with the Iflight TURBOBEE, whatever it is. It's linked down below anyway. And I want to know, what do you guys think? How does it compare to your drones? If you've built a toothpick, how do you feel about this? And there's quite a, what does this mean for the future of our hobby? What does this mean for people who are focusing on weight limits? You know, where do you think it's going to go next? What do you like about it? I want to know what you feel about it, because I feel quite strongly that this thing is going to be a bit of a game changer for a lot of people out there, and the best part, they're just gonna have an awesome time flying. So let's do it. Go have some fun. Fly it around in 3, 2, 1.
Radio out here in the weather. What are we doing in the field? Radio out here in the field, ready to fly this little Iflight crazy TURBOBEE beast, whatever it is. It's linked down below. We're with your boy Granger. We're about to rip it around. It's finally stopped raining, but it is a little bit chilly. I'm a bit more of a wuss than Granger, so I'm completely rugged up, beanie, ready to rock and roll. Let's do it. Show you guys some DVR, see what Granger thinks, and just have some fun. And fingers crossed, I'm pretty excited, because this thing had coming in 70 grams with a battery. And I don't know, what are your impressions? Excited?
It's a paper plane of the drone.
It's crazy light. So let's do it, rip the skies and have some fun. We're also at Whoop Heaven, which is an amazing place to fly, and this thing should just carve it up like fresh butter. Let's do it.
Don't arm it.
Why?
Do not arm it. I hope you brought alien keys. You put the props on wrong.
They're the reverse.
No, you've put them on wrong. Look at the bottom right and the top.
Oh,
you not bring alien keys.
Do you have them at home?
Yeah, I do. Oh, Stu! You're in the prop. You always do this.
What? No! Come on!
You always do this. You should only let me put on your prop.
I put the props on wrong, and I don't have a prop tool because it's at home on the bench, so we're going back home now to Granger's house to get one. Not happy, Jan, and Granger thinks it's hilarious.
It is so funny.
The worst time too, like of traffic peak hour. There goes another half an hour.
Probably about to rain.
Yep, we would have had just the right, look at this, the weather's coming in. Alright, let's zip it, get in the car, get your prop tool.
Solve them, I run through the money, the pressure be calling. Left on my blessings, I feel like I'm falling, the birdie is back.
We've got the little Hex driver, thank you Granger.
No worries.
Only took 40 minutes.
It's not raining though, that's still a plus.
Yeah, that's true, that's true. Alright, let's do it, let's do it.
Finally!
I'm ready to rip.
God. Lucky I didn't get close to it as well when you told me to get close. Because I checked it straight away. Fly now. It's so light that
It's taking off on
so
arm.
light. I could tell like as soon as you armed it.
Alright, you ready? Don't be careful.
It's so quiet and
Rightio, here we go on board, and I mean, we're going to be talking about the colors, the flight experience, all that sort of stuff, the beautiful video. But I do want to say I was recording this on my old, I guess, Onway V1, so we're getting a little bit of breakup, but that's only on the DVR. It wasn't coming through in the goggles, but you guys know DVR recordings always looks worse than in the field. But this thing screaming around, the FPV footage was absolutely delicious, and this quad for me is what FPV is all about. It's about getting people into the hobby. They want something they can take out of the box. It's easy to bind up, get flying. The flight experience is just so juicy. It was really, really smooth. There wasn't any oscillations. The camera is delicious. The colors look like they should. It's actually nice for a change to get a beautiful camera on here. We've got a good milliwatts on our VTX. Everything in here is just working in a succinct sort of ability. And whether you're a beginner, usually I say, this is recommended for beginners, or I'd say this is for experts. Granger sort of sums it up here in a little bit. He says this is just for everybody. Everybody who wants to have fun with a little micro drone you can take to the park. Because it's so light, you don't have to worry about weight restrictions. It's still got plenty of speed, and it's so quiet, like you can hear in some of those, I guess, line of sight shots. It's not making too much noise. It's not going to be upsetting people. So overall, I'm a huge fan. Well done, Iflight. What do you guys think? The only part I'd recommend is get a lot of batteries, because you're going to be having a lot of fun. And if you and some mates get together and have a race of this thing, I feel like this is going to be a new league for our hobby. So I can't wait to see where it goes. But what we should do, let's hand it over to Granger, see what he thinks about the little TURBOBEE. But yeah, I am very impressed.
so fast. It doesn't seem fast because it's so quiet.
It's ridiculous, man.
You weren't even giving it to it.
Low battery.
Probably broken arm, that's how light that thing is.
Let's go find it.
Holy crap. I'm impressed. It's just so light. Awesome.
Rightio, so I gotta say that was pretty crazy. I want to know, what do you guys think? Thumbs up if you're impressed, thumbs down if you didn't think it was very impressive, because honestly, for such a little park, it was kind of crazy. I don't know what it looked like to you flying around Granger.
Unbelievable. I'm so impressed. It was so light.
And super quiet as well. So definitely for under 100 grams and super light. But what I want to do, you're a racer. This is definitely like a little micro racing rig. I want to put you on its paces. You've got a bit of a bigger battery than I did, because I only had one 380 milliamp hour. That's a 450. So we'll see how it goes. Rip it around and see what Granger thinks as well. But so far,
I reckon
so good.
I'm going to like it.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
It is so light. And for this little thing as well, it's such a nice tune. It feels so locked on. A bit of prop wash, but it's kind of to be expected though with how light it is. Oh my god.
Can you give it a full punch?
Yeah. Just here?
Yeah, go man.
you don't realize how fast it's going until you look back down to how high you've punched up. It's just so light and quiet, you can't tell. They just keep getting better and better. Like, you could seriously just race this around your backyard flat out.
What do you think about for like a backyard racer to get for about this?
Big yes. Huge yes.
Okay, and what about under 100 grams?
It just keeps getting better. Like this, you could have so much fun with this thing. It just cruises around and it feels so locked on, which is another huge win in my books. I love a good tuned quad. I hate stuff that doesn't fly good. This just does everything I want it to do.
Man, what's the camera like? Like, I'm watching it right here.
Perfect.
It looks beautiful.
Absolutely amazing.
I'm watching on my video, actually, on my face, just watching your screen and watching your flight, and I got to admit, the camera does look incredible. Really nice colors. Hopefully this comes through on the DVR anyway.
Great colors. I'm very impressed. And I don't even fly X-Lite, and Stu knows that, and I'm still having an awesome time, and I feel kind of confident with it, you could say, I guess. I love this thing. Huge power loop.
Oh, I thought you were going to crash into us then. Alright, talk to me, Granger.
It's just awesome. I love it.
Who would stop doing that? Who would you recommend this for?
Everyone. Like, I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't want this if you're an expert, and I don't know why you wouldn't want this if you're a beginner. Like, it's just, it ticks all the boxes in my book.
What happened to the battery? What happened, Granger?
Having too much fun, didn't look at the timer.
So we got a 3-minute flight on that one. I was too busy looking at my
Right there.
Where are you?
I was like, right over there.
Alright.
Come through your power looping's just amazing. Just ticks all my boxes. Yes, Iflight. Is it Iflight?
It is Iflight.
Good job, Iflight. Awesome.
Granger, final impressions on the Iflight little TurboBee, the race version?
This is the best. Is this 2-inch? Would you classify this 2-inch?
That's 2.5 inch.
Best 2.5-inch I've ever flown. It's just ticks all my boxes, and it is 110% the best backyard racer you could have. Or freestyle. You can freestyle as well. Absolutely awesome.
Alright, no worries.
And it looks cool. Come on. That looks...
I got to say too, it does look amazing because I've had this in my house for a couple of days and I didn't actually open the box. I know I should have. And as soon as I opened the box, it was like 2 p.m. I called Granger up. I was like, man, we got something special. Let's go fly it. And I'm happy it didn't disappoint. So, I got to tell you a story too. I almost cut my face off though with this thing.
How?
So I had a fair bit of problem putting the props on, all that sort of stuff. I sat it down, it's in my garage, and I have a 4-mark hole in my roof where it's slammed into the roof. Full throttle.
Really?
Yeah.
How?
Well, you see this on the bottom? These little, what's on the bottom there? Velcro on the outside.
Oh yeah.
What's on the bottom of my garage?
Carpet.
It is.
So
It's there, it's going, I'm revving it, it's going zzz, nothing's happening, and then it just had enough force, it just went kapow! Straight into the ceiling when it broke free. So I was like, what was that? And then I realized I'm checking Betaflight, I'm taking the props off, I'm arming it, and that's why I almost cut my face off, because it was actually just Velcroed to the carpet until it got up enough thrust to break free. So the drone was fine. There's some holes in the ceiling. My wife was like, what was that? But it's all good, all good.
That is awesome.
Anyway, we're about to have some fun. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Subscribe for more FPV related tiny backyard racing action. And I gotta say, if you want something that's light, under 100 grams, you're gonna rip it around. Like the proof is in the pudding. You're seeing what it looks like. It absolutely screams on 3S. You can take it down to 2S if you need to tone it down. Amazing camera, super stable and fairly cheap as well. So I don't know, anything to add?
Agreed. What he said.
Anyway, happy flying.